So what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Biz Strategy Studio. My name is Janice. I am the um, educator here at the Biz Strategy Studio, where we help you get your biz off the ground by giving you relatable and practical business techniques and tips to help you essentially grow your business using email marketing, as well as really understanding your audience and making certain that you're able to produce those quality leads to get your people into the business. So, what we're going to talk about today is ethical email marketing, right? In 2025, with everything that is going on, how do you build trust and not spam? Okay. So, honestly, the truth is that, this is the year of the inbox, and every brand essentially want the attention of the consumer, and the consumer is becoming way more cold. Now, the difference that can be between your email being open or being sent straight to the trash or the spam folder is trust. So today we're going to dive into how you can build trust through your email marketing campaign, and what does actual ethical email marketing in 2025 look like, and how do we build trust with it? If you're tired of the gimmicks, if you're tired of the bait and switch, the subject lines, or wondering why your emails is just not getting open, you're getting ghosted, then this particular video and training is for you. And as you're going through this training today, I want you to think about this from two angles. The first angle I want you to think about it is from a consumer. You are receiving emails, I'm sure, okay, from individuals whom you are, known to do business with, and therefore they're emailing you hoping to keep their name in front of your face for you to remember that they have what you need. And that is, that is the exact same thing that should be happening with your customers. You want them to not forget who you are, and you want them to think of you first when they need what you offer. So the first thing is, why is email marketing? Why does ethical email marketing matter? Well, the spam filters are very smart in 2025. As a matter of fact, you could probably find more of legitimate emails in the spam folders than you would probably years ago. And it's becoming way more, probable that your email could end up in spam. I know, like, there are times when I'm trying to receive email from individuals, and that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my business, but they will say, okay, if you don't receive it, then check your spam folder. And the reason why is because spam is becoming way smarter in determining whether or not this email is legit. Like, can we trust what the subject line is? Does it match up to what the body of the text of the email is, right? Another thing is that, consumers demand transparency and consistency and value. So when you're emailing your customers, you already have a pretty good idea of what it is they're interested in from you. Now, if these are cold customers, and most of the time this is going to take place when you're dealing with customers who have come into your funnel through a lead magnet. Even with that lead magnet, you have an idea of what your customer is interested in. So you want to make sure that you're providing them value in that particular area. And so when you're providing them value and consistency in that area, you will begin to build trust, right? The third thing is ethical marketing. So long-term customers, not short-term clicks. You could go to a lot of the search engines and a lot of the websites that give you news, and they will have these articles that is just seem improbable. And yet the reason why they are using them is because people click on those types of articles. And so you want to make certain that if you are using something that is a beautiful, wonderful hook, or if you're using something that is very controversial, right, then you want to make certain that your content support whatever your angle is. And those are going to be three things that we really want to kind of think about when we talk about why ethical email marketing matters. Is one, spam folders are growing because the technology that they're using to discern whether or not they can trust your email is becoming smarter. Consumers are going to demand, more transparency, consistency, and value. And then lastly, we want to focus on our long-term relationship versus short-term clicks. And a lot of times when you're using those hooks and you're doing things such as that, that's exactly what you're encouraging. You're encouraging a very quick and fast relationships. And we want to be married to them. We want them to be in a relationship with us. Okay. So think about, your last brand email that you loved. All right. And this is one of the things that, I said when we begin is I want you to think about, your email marketing from two angles, you as a consumer and then you as a business person. And so I want you to think about the last brand email that you love. What made it stick out for you? Chances are, it's respected because it did respect your time and it gave you real value, right? So, there's a very fine balance between giving value in the right time and at the right consistency. And each one of your clients could very well be different in terms of what they need from you. But you have to be able to understand that you are not going to be able to have a two-way conversation in most cases with your email list. So you're going to have to utilize those tools that's inside of your email marketing platform to customize and to make it much more value centric than if you were able to have those one-on-one conversations. So here are some 2025 trends in ethical email marketing that we're going to talk about. So the first one is the AI powered personalization versus creepy tracking, right? And we want to be able to draw the line. So you have probably noticed that when you search for something, or even when you're talking about a particular subject or item, that it begins to show up everywhere, right? Like you begin to say, oh, I want some chocolate ice cream. And next thing you know, the 12 different flavors of chocolate ice cream pops up from all the brands, tell you that it's on sale at your favorite grocery store. And, you have this sense that you're being watched, right? But you can't prove it. That's what I'm talking about when I mentioned the creepy tracking. When we look at personalizations inside of our email type marketing campaigns, what we're talking about is making certain that you are providing information back to the consumer that you receive from them. So if you're dealing with your email list from a standpoint of a lead magnet, then that lead magnet told you exactly what they were interested in. If you're dealing with your email list from the standpoint of a previous purchase, then you have information about what they find valuable in your actual business. You want to use that information to build various types of tags and segmentation inside of your email marketing platform so that you can speak directly to their interests. You, of course, want to always use any kind of personalization, like using their name in the email body, providing them with special offers and other types of exclusive member or email list type benefits. Those are things that you can do that helps people feel special, and it makes them feel like they are seen by your business. All right, the next thing that we want to talk about in terms of trends in ethical email marketing is plain text email is making a comeback because they feel more human, right? So there was a time when you had a lot of graphics and a lot of everything inside of your email, and it was just real fancy dancy. But now it's a lot more common to see a lot of plain text in your email, maybe a little less video, a little less graphics. Still very aesthetically pleasing, but not overdone, right? And the reason why is because I don't know how you feel, but when you get a written letter from someone, and those types of things happen very rarely, but when you get a written letter from someone or a card that is handwritten, Those things hit a little bit differently than if you know they're just going to the regular store and just picking up a card and signing their name to it. And so that's the same kind of emotion that those plain text emails bring to individuals who receive them. They're like, oh, this is really nice because they've taken the time to really personalize that email message for me, and it's not mass produced. Okay. The next thing is micro segmentation. You want to send fewer but better emails. So when we're looking at segmentation, again, this goes back to you knowing who exactly is on your email list, how they got there. You want to know their history. You want to know their pain points. You want to know as much about them as you possibly can without being creepy. And when you have done that, now you can send more powerful emails to that list. And what we mean by more powerful email is that now you understand what is their underlying why. Why did they reach out to you? Why did they buy this? Why did they want this particular lead magnet? And now you can use that information to send fewer but more powerful emails. And then we want transparency badges, right? You know, companies signaling ethical practices in their footers. You can do that. That could be something that is internal. You kind of like control and decide how that looks, but it gives people an assurance that, oh, look, you know, here is an ethical type, you know, business, and this is what they do. So here are some case studies and some examples that I want to kind of share with you. So the first example is a small business that went from 95% unopened to 40% open rate by switching to a customer-driven topic, right? So when we talk about customer-driven topics, these are topics that, again, go back into you understanding why they're on your email list, and then using that information to basically build content around those topics or subjects. And that helps strengthens your relationship and your trust rating, and also provides value to your customer. And so that is a really good example of how you can use that. Now, keep in mind, all of the other things matters too, right? You always still want to have a really good subject line that relates to the content, right? You always want to have an offer there that says, hey, we really appreciate you being a part of our family, right? You always want to have those types of things there. But the first thing you need to do is to really kind of make sure that you understand what it is they want so that you can offer that to them. Okay. And, you know, a lot of it's going to take a lot of brainstorming, some trial and error. It's not going to be something that you're going to know today. Like, you're not going to be able to sit down and say, okay, on today, I'm going to figure out exactly what my customer wants. You're going to have to develop a plan that's going to help you kind of eliminate those things they don't want so that you can get closer to the things that they do want, right? And the easiest thing to do with that is to really understand how you are engaging with them and why they decided to engage with you. Okay, example number 2 is a coach who replaced hard sales funnels with storytelling sequences, resulting in higher retention. So when you're building your funnel, you need a funnel first, because you want to be able to take your customers on a journey, right? You want to be able to have them check in at various stop points and be able to have an introduction slowly to who you are. So funnels are still a good thing, but you want funnels that are more so relatable. And when you dip into the storytelling, that's where you get that relatability with your customer, because now they can relate to that circumstance or that situation instead of just being confronted with a whole cold hard fact. So storytelling is a very good way to retain those particular email list subscribers who are interested, because they can relate to what it is what you're saying and what you're offering. The third example that I want to give you is that a retailer who cleaned their list and actually made more sales with fewer subscribers. If you happen to have a list and you've had this list for a little while, and what I mean by a little while is anywhere from a year to 2 years, and maybe even in some cases 6 months, depending on how quickly your rates of turnover is, how quickly your churn is, or your actual email list. But I'm going to say from 1 to 2 years, and you've noticed that there are at least 30 or more percent of the list that is not engaging with your content. And what I mean by not engaging is they're not opening it, they're not clicking on any of the links, they're not buying anything, they're just receiving it and it's just kind of sitting in their inbox. You want to go ahead and remove those individuals. Chances are you're paying for them. And if you are, then that's money that you're spending for no reason. So go ahead and remove those individuals from your list. Now, you're not going to throw them away. You're usually able to download a CVS file from your email provider so that you can store it. And then you may just use that list to kind of reach out to them periodically, just to let them know about special events and things that are happening in case they become warm again. But you want to go ahead and remove those individuals who are weighing down your list and not providing any value in their existence on your list. So in this particular case, this is what the retailer did, and they were actually able to, earn more money by removing those people who were not engaging with their content, right? So one of the tips that I want you to remember from this segment is that, use before and after contrast to highlight transformation. That's a really great way for storytelling to begin. This is what they were experiencing before, but after they use my product or after they use my service, this is how their life has changed, okay? And that brings you back to that essence of giving them something they can relate to, because they're like, man, I always have problems, doing this, or I'm experiencing, issues doing that. And now you have something that they can relate to. And not only do you have something they can relate to, you have a solution that they can apply towards that issue. All right, so let us continue. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, and I'm trying to find how many. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, some action steps for listeners. Okay. And that's going to be for you guys, right? So you're going to think about 4 things that you can do to help you build more trust in your email marketing campaign. Now, before I do that, I want to remind you that we are still accepting applicants for the email marketing for beginners cohort. This is an 8-week cohort where we walk you through the whole entire process of really building out an amazing email marketing campaign that you can implement in your business. Okay. If you're interested in that, please make certain that you check out the show notes, the description, and click the link. It'll take you over to our Biz Strategy Studio website. And from there, not only can you apply for the cohort, but you can also check out a couple of the other amazing offers that we have going on here at the Biz Strategy Studio. So back to a 4-step action plan. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you audit your list and you cut those individuals who are not providing any kind of value. They're not engaging. They're not opening your emails. They're not clicking links. They're not purchasing. Go ahead and move them to an inactive list that you can still keep and maintain. You can still reach out to them periodically, but they're not on your active email list. Okay. And this is going to be a benefit to you because, like I said, you probably are already paying for these individuals. And so you're just moving them over to, I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit later and a little differently list. Okay. The second thing is you want to go ahead and think about how can you write subject lines to be honest, but intriguing at the same time, right? You don't want to use the bait and switch. You want to use a subject line that is going to basically tell the customer exactly what it is that they're going to be expecting from you. All right. Hold just 1 second. You want to make sure that you map your email cadence. So don't ghost the people, but don't overwhelm them either. Have that perfect balance, right? Where you are making sure that you're in front of them, but you're not, overwhelming them. And then we want to also personalize your strategy so that it feels more natural. We don't want it to feel so robotic or like you just pulled everything from out of an AI system. Okay. You wanted to give it that personalization. And then you want to commit to an ethical promise statement for your brand and put it on your email. Hey, this is our our promise to you. All right. So if today's episode lit a little fire under you, then you'll love my course. Again, the email marketing for beginners, right? You'll walk away with your step-by-step, setting up your email strategy, from growing your list in the right way to understanding how to write your subject lines to get people to open, and also how you can automate your emails without sounding robotic, right? So again, if you're interested, go ahead and enroll today, and let's turn your email into a trusted resource and not digital junk mail. We don't want that. The link is inside of the show notes or the description. And remember, ethical marketing isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart way to grow your business in 2025. So thanks for tuning in. And until next time, absolutely keep building trust and not spam. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, you guys.